The Yankees, who are in first place, are back in the Bronx to take on the Atlanta team to be renamed later. And the forecast is for thunder. Red Thunder.
Clint Frazier with a fly ball deep to left field. There it goes. See ya. A long home run for Frazier, a 2-run shot.
All right, we thought this might be a possibility when Giancarlo Stanton went down again. Clint Frazier has been recalled to the Yankees. No word yet on if he'll be in the lineup tonight. There is a right-handed pitcher on the mound, so it would not surprise me if Mike Ford is in there tonight or if somebody else is in there tonight. But the Yankees decided that the bat that was most ready to replace Giancarlo Stanton on the roster was Clint Frazier. Now, we all know Clint Frazier's story. He was acquired by the Yankees from the Indians for Andrew Miller. Clint Frazier was the 5th overall draft pick when he was drafted out of high school, and he was a big-time prospect. He came up to the Yankees and he had a home run in his debut against the cheating Houston Astros. 6 days later, he had a walk-off home run off of Corey Knebel of the Brewers. Clint Frazier is no longer a prospect by the sheer definition of the word. He's got 123 games played in the major leagues, and he's got 16 home runs, 56 RBIs, and a .254 batting average. So he's basically played a little less than a full season, and he's had okay numbers. He's got a .771 OPS, so that's basically slightly below major league average. His OPS plus, which factors in the ballpark and the pitching and all that stuff, is 102, so slightly above average. Average would be 100. But there's no questioning his tools. He's got amazing bat speed. He's got power. We see him take pitches. We see him drive the ball all over the ballpark to all fields. He has good at bats. He's got a smaller strike zone because he's a shorter guy, and he's very strong. The problem with Clint Frazier has never been his offense, though. We've always thought that he would hit. It's been his defense. The reason he's been in the minor leagues is because he never matured as a defensive player. A couple years ago when he came up, he was okay defensively, but last year he really struggled defensively, dropping balls, missed throwing balls, and then getting into little scuffles with his teammates on social media and stuff, and it gave a lot of people a bad taste in their mouth about Clint Frazier. But showing up to spring training this year, a lot of people felt that he had really matured over the winter. He had done a lot of work on his defense. He had done a lot of work on his swing. He's changed his stance. He's turned his toe slightly inward, which gives him even more bat speed if that was possible. We saw him play in the scrimmage, and he hit a monster home run. You saw it in the cold opening today. And then he's been playing very well at the alternate site, AAA. He posted a few videos of him hitting home runs to dead center field. So the talent is there, especially with the bat. And with a DH spot opening up, the Yankees are going to be pretty creative on how they use that spot. My guess would be that Clint Frazier is going to play against lefties for sure, and occasionally at bats against righties depending on the matchup. But I do know that the Yankees really like Mike Ford, and so they're going to continue to give him at bats wherever possible too. And he's a pretty good first baseman, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that he plays first base. Clint Frazier is at DH. Luke Voit sits, but Luke Voit is a great hitter, and he's having a very good year, so you want his bat in the lineup too. And I just think that Clint Frazier is going to be mostly your DH against lefties. I don't see him getting a lot of time in the outfield, but that's okay. The guy he's replacing on the roster, Giancarlo Stanton, has yet to play an inning in the outfield this year. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Clint Frazier can do, the new and improved Clint Frazier. There was an interesting post on Reddit last night that looked at Clint Frazier's clutch gene. With runners in scoring position for his career, he's got a 1.034 OPS in 100 plate appearances. Now, just for a frame of reference, Giancarlo Stanton's OPS this season was 1.038. So basically, with runners in scoring position, Clint Frazier is Giancarlo Stanton. That's huge. And last year, he was even better than that. He had a 1.198 OPS with runners in scoring position, only 56 plate appearances, so it is a small sample size. That is likely to be unsustainable over a full season. But DJ LeMahieu did something similar last year. He had a 1.017 OPS, and he was almost the MVP. So I really feel like Clint Frazier has the clutch gene. I believe there is a clutch gene. The statistical guys will tell you that over a large enough sample size, everybody pretty much hits what they hit in the clutch situations. But Clint Frazier, to me, always looked like a guy who felt like he had something to prove, that felt like he had a little chip on his shoulder. And sometimes those guys are extra dependable in the clutch because they want to prove you wrong. They want to go out and be the story. And I feel like Clint Frazier is one of those guys, so I'm optimistic about how he's going to do this time. I hope the Yankees give him some playing time. So the Atlanta Braves are in town. They are a pretty good ball club this year. They are 11-7. Their catcher, Travis d'Arnaud, used to be with the Mets. He's hitting .400 this year, opposite of our catcher. Freddie Freeman, big left-handed hitter. He's going to be dangerous in Yankee Stadium. He's hitting .267 with 3 home runs and 12 RBIs coming back from COVID. Ozzie Albies, he's an electric second baseman. He's on the IL. Dansby Swanson, he was the #1 pick a few years ago. He's off to a pretty good start. Yohan Camargo, off to a slow start with the batting average, but he does have power. Marcell Ozuna has 3 home runs and 8 RBIs. He's improved immensely over the last couple years since he left Florida. Ender Inciarte, he was picked up by the Braves in a trade a few years ago. He's off to a slow start, but he's a pretty good hitter. And Ronald Acuna Jr., one of the most exciting young players in baseball, just 22 years old. The Braves pitching is pretty good. We're going to see Tiki Toussaint tonight. I think that's how you pronounce it. He's appeared in 3 games this year, has a 6.08 ERA. He's got good stuff, though. 20 strikeouts in 13 1/3 innings. Max Fried is probably the best pitcher on their staff this year. He's 3-0 in 4 starts with a 1.59 ERA, but he pitched the second game of a doubleheader 2 days ago, so we will not see him in this series. Mike Soroka is on the 60-day IL. He injured his Achilles tendon. Sean Newcomb and Kyle Wright round out their rotation. Neither of those guys have pitched very well this year. Their bullpen is pretty strong. Grant Dayton, Josh Tomlin, and then former Yankee Mark Melancon. Shane Green, another former Yankee out there in the bullpen. We know he's been tough on the Yankees since he left New York. So the Braves are not going to be an easy matchup. I'm mostly worried about the red-hot Ronald Acuna. He is just an amazing player. He reminds me of kind of a right-handed Ken Griffey Jr., just the way he goes and gets the ball in center field and just how great he is offensively. I mean, the guy has as much power as anybody in the game. So got to be careful with him. If I'm the Yankees, I'm just putting him on base. I'm putting up 4 fingers, head down the first base. You're going to have to beat us on defense. The Braves are going to be a tough matchup, but the Yankees are back home. They've had a day off to rest. They've got Jordan Montgomery going instead of JA Happ tonight. They decided, the Yankees did, to skip JA Happ in the rotation, which I think was a great move because Happ has been garbage this year. And Jordan Montgomery, let's face it, he had a bad start last time out, but he's been pretty good overall. He looked good in spring. He looked good in the scrimmage games. And he looked good in his rehab last year. So I feel like Jordan Montgomery is going to have a good night. He's had a day off of rest, an extra day off. So look for a good start tonight from Jordan Montgomery. Tomorrow night will be Masahiro Tanaka back in the Bronx. He was lights out last time against the Braves, and I think he's going to do a nice job tomorrow. He's the type of guy who would give the Braves some trouble, I think, because he throws so many off-speed pitches. He's got that slider. He's got that splitter. The Braves are a fastball-hitting team. Freddie Freeman and Ronald Acuna Jr. They're both big-time fastball hitters. So if I'm Tanaka, I'm approaching those guys with off-speed stuff. So should be a fun series. My pick to click tonight, you heard it here first. Gleyber Torres is going to break out. I feel like he had some good swings the other night. He really didn't get a ton of hits, but he hit that one ball to right field where he kind of stayed back. He still kind of got on his front foot a little bit when he drove it to right field, but he kept his hands back long enough to barrel it up. I feel like that's a sign that his timing is almost there. And if he's thinking right field and he's going back to Yankee Stadium where it's short in right field, that's a good combination for him. So look for Gleyber Torres tonight to break out. That's my pick to click. I'll see you on the post game. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, all that stuff. Feel free to comment, whatever.